everybody. Welcome to the Locker Room, our podcast where we feature all of the kids in the Bayou region, those student athletes who are out there on the courts, on the fields, in the swimming pools, doing the right thing. And when I say doing the right thing, they're trying to make a positive influence on their schools, and they're not sitting around doing some things that are negative in nature. I'm Stan Gravois. He is Dustin Robichaud. We both work here at Terrebonne General, and we're very happy that our facility gives us this time to sort of promote those kids in the area. How are you, my friend?
I'm great, Stan. Happy National Clean Your Desk Day.
That is actually a great day. And I don't know these days he's talking about when we come in on Monday, but that is great. I certainly, as I'm looking over at the desk area here, yeah, I might be busy all day today. So again, folks, it's National Clean Your Desk Day. Make sure you get that done. What do you find these things? Is there usually more than one on a certain
Yes,
day?
today is also National Kettlebell Day.
Okay, I'm glad you passed on that one.
Passed on that one. And it's National Hot Tea Day. There's a few of them today.
That is strange. That is strange.
Yes.
Listen, we are moving on in January. Obviously, basketball is the big thing, along with soccer and some other team sports that are getting ready to crank up. Tennis is getting ready to crank up. We've been a little bit into wrestling, but we're going to get more into it as throughout the rest of the winter, wrestling becomes bigger. You also have baseball and softball who's getting out on the fields, and they're getting started along the way. Bowling is getting started. But again, basketball, the big topic, and we're going to talk with Casey Gisclair just a little bit later about what's going on with both boys and girls basketball in our area. I also have a nice little feature today, and that feature is on William Brown. William Brown is a baseball player from HLB Bourgeois who decided to play his collegiate baseball at Dillard University. Had the opportunity to get out there to HLB Bourgeois for his signing, but it turned into more than that, or at least for me, because you could see the rest of his baseball team sitting in that library at HLB Bourgeois. And there were a lot of coaches along his journey who got up and spoke about the work he put in. And it made me feel like these other players were learning that if you want to play on the college level, there's things you have to do. I mean, obviously, you have to work hard. You have to keep your grades up. You have to do all of those things. And that's the kind of model kid that William Brown is. So, again, that's a lot of fun. So after we talk to Casey, we'll get to that time we spent with William Brown. But again, as I said, we're going to start things off with Casey talking about basketball in the Bayou region. Again, it's my pleasure to have Casey Gisclair with us. Hadn't had Casey in a while. How are you, my friend? How are things going?
Doing good, man. Just getting out of the holidays, start of a new year. Everything's going well. How about yourself?
Very good. Listen, I have to give you a couple of kudos along the way, obviously with Bayou Sports, where everybody can go find out daily information. That's always a plus. Also with play-by-play and every other media platform that you're on. But the one I want to give you a kudos related to right now, a big kudos, is ESPN Plus working with Nichols.
Thank you.
I think because I live close to the university now, I've become sort of engaged and I have friends. I'm going to give them a shout out. The guys at South Louisiana Bank that, they have seats there right under the goal. So I go sit with those guys. But when I can't make it, or when there's a situation where, I'm out of town or whatever, you just go to ESPN Plus and you're usually there calling the game. So we appreciate that. And when I have the opportunity to watch Nichols and they're out of town, how do I say, this is a huge compliment to you. Some of the guys, and you know what I'm talking about, I think.
Yeah.
Some of the universities must pick up a guy walking on the sidewalk or something.
One else to say that. I'm not allowed to say that. Yeah, I've been told that by many people before.
Well, it's a little interesting. And actually, we all went out to UNO on Saturday night to see the men play. And we were kind of looking at those guys, and the four guys I was with all said the same thing. They enjoyed tuning in to you, and we're lucky to have you doing that. So, again, thanks for that.
No, thank you very much, man. It's been a joy. And, hey, look, go to Stouffer Gym. The men and the women are both playing really well.
I agree 100%. Big game against McNeese tonight.
Yep.
Let's talk about boys basketball. Just your general perception. I'll ask you this first. Are we at a point in time with power rankings where if you're a team that's not in the top 24 to not top 28, that you should be concerned?
Yes. Yes. We are now at that stage where the numbers matter. And if you are outside of the given postseason bracket that you're projected to be in, it's not mission impossible to climb, but the journey better start right now. Because it is a situation where those numbers don't usually, like you don't, very rarely will you see a team that's seeded 29th right now end up 15th. So you may move a little bit, but you're not going to move a ton. So if you're on the outside looking in, it is go time, and it is go time right now.
Agree 100%. When you look at Division One non-select, which has a lot of teams, obviously from our local area, South Lafourche in great shape at number 11, HL Bourgeois at number 17. But then I saw Terrebonne at 7-7, and they're sitting at 33. And I'm starting to think, I don't know if you could get in if you're sitting at 33. That's why I posed that question to you. Tell me what you think about Division One basketball in the area.
Well, I could tell you this, and this is from a local coach in our area who's in Division One non-select. He told me, he said, hey, look, if you don't win every game, you're losing ground. And he said the most difficult thing about it is when you are in the bubble, or on the bubble rather, you are rooting against teams that are above 500 and that are going to more than likely win more often than not. So it's just so hard to make up ground. It's so hard to, gain steam because the teams you're chasing are not slouches. It's not like in the other divisions where the team on the 28 line might be 10-21 overall. It's just not that way in Division One.
Agreed 100%. And when you even look at it a little further and we start talking about wins and loss records, it's not particularly great for the Bayou region. We always sort of pride ourselves with boys basketball. But wins and losses, you consider South Lafourche obviously way out there, and they're going to finish with a winning record. HL Bourgeois above that line, but only by a game. It's going to be a little dicey when it comes right down to it. Let's drop down to Division Two, and again, we're going to stick with non-select. Assumption. Talk about the turnaround. I mean, from last year to this year, obviously Coach Clement is doing something right.
Yeah, look, the job they have done there is unbelievable. Coach Thomas Clement and his staff have turned that program around. And, even in the course of this season, if you go and look at their schedule early, they were playing weaker teams and they were just kind of skirting by. Now, as that confidence is built, they're beating high quality teams. Those kids believe now, like, hey, we could do this. We're really good. And they are really good. They're going to be a factor in our local 4A district for sure.
Ellender actually inside of that top 28, because remember, I think it's 28 when you're talking about non-select basketball, but they're 7-11 on the year, so there's not a whole lot of margin for error with that team. South Terrebonne and Morgan City looking out. I thought South Terrebonne had the beginnings of maybe turning something around, but it certainly has been a tough road to hoe probably the last 30 days for the Gators. Think Ellender's in? I mean, I know they're sitting at 17, so it sounds good, but I'm looking at 7-11 and sort of wondering.
I think they're going to be okay. Their schedule's going to lighten up. That's the one thing with Coach Cornell Scott. He schedules a brutal schedule, which is the reason why they're 4 games below 500 and are where they are. The thing with Ellender that's a little unique this year, Stan, is they're usually 32 minutes of pain. We're pushing the ball. We're pressing. This year, Coach Scott doesn't have that same personnel. And they're kind of the ones that are pulling the ball back out. If you notice a lot of their scores, it's 41-37, and it's not those old school Ellender 68-64 games. They're actually the ones playing a little slower this year, and they're kind of adjusting to that change in tempo a little bit.
Let's drop down to Division II select, and I say drop down. Vanderbilt obviously very good last year, probably not the strength level. I mean, Jordan Matthews is not with him anymore. That being said, they're actually behind E.D. White right now, power ranking-wise. You're talking about a 19 team and a 21 team. Do you think they both get in?
Yeah, I think they'll both get in. Vanderbilt's getting stronger. They're adjusting to some roles and some different things. They picked up a big win against Lafayette Christian recently, and they're starting to generate a little steam. E.D. White's going to find their way in, I think, as well. They are kind of the late bloomer, so to speak, in the area. They don't start until like the middle of December because of their football situation. So as they kind of pick up more games, you got to understand that part of the thing with EDY is they don't have the opportunity to generate as many schedule points as everybody else because they haven't played as many games as everybody else. So once that kind of picks up, I think their ranking is going to fall in line as well.
Ironically, a lot of people talk about EDY's coach, Coach Keefe, being the master related to these how you work PowerPoint rankings. And when you consider the Cardinals have played 8 games this year, you look at some of the other teams in the area. HL Bourgeois got like 18 games under their belt. I think Destrehan has 21. There's a little bit of gamesmanship that goes along with all of that where you have to understand, but you also can't go out and play a bunch of games right after football season knowing you're not going to get your football kids, right?
100%. And look, even in E.D. White's case, what good would it do Jonathan Keefe to schedule a bunch of games in early to mid-November when he doesn't have his varsity? I mean, it wouldn't be a good situation for him. And there's others in the area. CCA starts really late as well. St. James starts really late as well. That's actually a trend that we're starting to see. A lot of these teams are saying, hey, if our football team is good, because it used to be, Stan, you get your football players back, then you just roll the ball out the next day. Now coaches are realizing it takes 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even a month to get those guys really performing to their maximum output. So even in a case if your football team loses in the first or second round, coaches are still pushing it back to December just to give them that practice time to get ready.
Agree. We look at Division III select. Homer Christian 2-5 on the year. They are inside that bubble of 24, but boy, it's iffy, right?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. They're going to have to pick up some wins coming home. And with Homer Christian, almost the same situation for basketball as their football. They've just been beat up a little bit. Got some injuries and some younger kids. They're trying to make it work, but it has just been tough.
And finally, we look at Division IV select and a team that I've seen scores. And listen, you see the games a lot more than I do. You know, you have your eyes on it. I see scores, I see highlights, and I start to make formulations. And a lot of times, I'm not sure I'm going to be 100% correct on things, but the one kind of formulation I'm starting to make about Central Catholic is one, they're good, which we sort of knew that, but it's not only good as a single A team, they can compete with just about anybody, right?
We ranked the teams at Bayou Sports last week. We had them as the second-ranked team in the area behind only HL Bourgeois. I mean, and ahead of South Lafourche and some of these other really good teams in the area. They are that good. They've got the Parker Jennings kid who anything inside of the half-court line, he could score. They've got other weapons. They've got great coaching with the Case brothers. You're 100% right, Stan. Central Catholic is not just single-A good. In fact, they play South Lafourche on Friday in the tank. Everybody's expecting that to be a very close, very competitive game. There's nobody down the bayou that's looking at that game and saying, oh, it's a single-A school. It's going to be easy. Not so fast. They're very, very good.
And listen, we didn't talk too much about CCA. CCA sitting at number 18. They're 500 on the year. Everybody talks about Ernie Brown helping Troy Jackson there. They're going to be competitive. There's no doubt about it. I think they're going to pick up some wins. Maybe Central Catholic, the only team in that district that is not that much better than them. Maybe I shouldn't say that because I'm sure Jenna Red is very athletic also. So that being said, it would be nice to see a majority of our boys teams getting into playoffs. Anything surprise you this year related to boys basketball?
Surprising, I think, would be you got to go back to assumption. We knew they were going to be better. I didn't think that anyone, maybe even Thomas, thought they would be this much better. And then I'll be honest with you, man, some of the preseason talk, HL Bourgeois struggling a little bit. That's a little bit of a surprise. Andrew was telling us, hey, man, this is one of the best teams I've ever had. And they just have not been able to get consistent effort. And that's even something Coach Kaiway talked about on play-by-play is that, man, this team is frustrating me because one game we're the best team in the state of Louisiana. The next game we're not even anywhere close to that. So they're struggling, and when you schedule the way that Andrew does and you don't bring it every game, it's going to be a problem.
Well, the one thing all these guys can hang their hat on is the old adage, it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Correct.
We're about heading down the home stretch. Let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about girls basketball in the area. And quite honestly, when you look at wins and losses, our girls in the Bayou region are doing much better than the boys are in the Bayou region. And I'm going to start with Terrebonne High. Terrebonne High is solid good, right?
unbelievably good. And look, we're in a run here with them that it's going to last for a long time. I mean, they're unbelievably good, but they're unbelievably young. Coach Cassidy Barrios is doing a great job with that team. I remember doing this program like 1 year ago with you, telling you, hey, look, Terrebonne's good now, but just wait. They've got people coming down the road. Well, that time is here. They are playing at such a high level. Coach Cassidy Barrow's doing a great job with those ladies. And if you're a Terrebonne girls basketball fan, you are in for a 4 to 5 year run where you are going to be at or near the top of the Division I standings for the next half decade.
Agree. Listen, they're sitting at number 8 right now in a very tough, obviously, division. At 15 is HL Bourgeois, who's 15-4. They're really good. You know, last year when HL Bourgeois and Terrebonne would play like a Vanderbilt, you saw, not that you necessarily knew the outcome, but you knew Vanderbilt was a better team at that time. Not so much anymore. These teams all play each other, and it's one heck of a ball game, right?
Look, when HL Bourgeois played Vanderbilt a couple weeks ago, Bourgeois led the whole game. Vanderbilt came back strong and won by 1 point at the end. Journey Johnson got a big and won at the end. But you're absolutely right. And look, Terrebonne plays Vanderbilt coming up. If I were making odds on that one, I would favor Terrebonne in that game. That's just where we are. Those teams have made an impact.
Also, let's talk about South Lafourche. They're at number 19. Sort of got steady. At the beginning, they were very hot, but it's sort of depending on who they were playing. But now, seem to, they're just sort of at an even keel, sitting at the year at 12-3.
Coach Kathy Luke has made an impact with that team. She's done an outstanding job. And, the one thing, Stan, with the Lady Tarpons is health. Nyla Lyons has been available. That's been a huge, she was not there last year. She's there this year, and that makes all the difference. For a Lady Tarpon team that's also very young. They're starting a couple freshmen. They're playing at a high level. And, yeah, it's been a great season so far. I think they're going to be playoff bound. And Coach Luke was open from the beginning of the season. She said, hey, look, I want us to be playing our best when it matters most. And they're trending in that direction right now.
Very good. Let's continue with Division II non-select South Terrebonne with a winning record. They're at 10-6, sitting comfortably at number 15 right now. And then there's nobody else in that district locally. I mean, Lutcher is in there. We don't necessarily consider Lutcher a Bayou Region team, but South Terrebonne has a little nucleus of some girls who can play. And I think they're also sort of a solid, especially for Division II.
Oh, yeah, they're going to get in, and they got a chance to host in the opening round. They got the Stokes kid there, and they got good infrastructure. Their coaching staff has been retained the last couple of seasons. The stability there has changed, and they are going to be a tough out, absolutely.
In Division II select, obviously, it's two. I wouldn't call them necessarily power. Well, I would. I would call Vanderbilt a power program. They won a state championship last year. They are steadily climbing. They're just on that continuous upswing. E.D. White has been up there. They've kind of fluctuated anywhere between 2 and 5. Nixon Act does a great job with that team, and now they're playing some tough competition. 2 still really good teams, right?
Oh, absolutely. E.D. White's playing at a very high level. They've got, Emory Ingram, the 9th grade sensation, who's already got a Nichols offer, and she's averaging 17 points a game and is doing all these great things. The team that's a little bit interesting to me is, locally, I hear so much talk of, the Terrebonne girls. They got all these 9th graders. HL Bourgeois is doing great things. Kathy Luke's at South Lafourche. You don't hear much about the defending state champion Vanderbilt Terriers in Division II, who are just quietly laying in the weeds there, sitting in the top 10, getting better, building depth as the year goes on. Don't forget about Vanderbilt. They're going to be there at the end.
I agree. Listen, Houma Christian in Division III Select does have a winning record, just one game above 500 at 4-3. They're at number 15. I could see them getting in, and let's lump some Division IV Select with that too. Central Catholic is at 4-10. Unfortunately, CCA, a little bit of growing pains under Cat Ward. They're sitting at 1-7. Talk about those 3 teams and maybe the opportunity to get in.
Houma Christian's going to get in. They're real young. They're still fighting through some things, but they're a little more developed, I guess, than the others. With CCA, actually had a chance to chat with Coach Cat Ward recently. They are brutally young, and CCA right now is in that same mold that Terrebonne was in 2 or 3 years ago. And ironically enough, Cat Ward was an assistant coach at Terrebonne. CCA's middle school girls right now are amongst the best in the area. And they're just kind of in that wait and see. Hey, they're in the 6th and 7th grade now. not quite ready for varsity yet, but when they are, look out. And then they currently got a group of, 9th and 10th graders playing varsity. They're a couple years away, but they are a couple years away from being very, very good.
Listen, as always, it's a pleasure to have you on. We're going to continue this. And again, the platforms that the folks could find you at, I'll give a few. You tell me if I'm missing any. Bayou Sports, obviously. Very easy to go to if you're a Facebook user. You just go out there, BY-U. Did I say that right?
Correct.
Listen, if they want to go to the Lafourche Gazette, you write for the Lafourche Gazette. If they would like to go and listen to you on play-by-play, that's every day. What's all the hours for play-by-play?
12 to 2, Monday through Friday, and then we got the Sports Corner 10 to noon every Saturday.
That's KLEB. If you prefer FM, it's 102.7. If you prefer AM, 1600. Am I right?
Correct.
Very good. Thank you, Casey, for everything. We'll keep in touch.
100% my pleasure. Thanks so much for you guys giving me this opportunity to come on and talk local sports.
All right. We'll talk to you later, Casey.
Yep.
Always fun to have Casey on. Again, you can catch him at Bayou Sports, and you can also hear him on play-by-play at noon on KLEB Radio. I think that's 102.7. That being said, let's move on. I told you at the beginning of the show I had William Brown from his signing on Friday, along with a lot of his coaches along the way. He played on a travel team in New Orleans. Obviously, he plays at HL Bourgeois, and Corey Sullivan's going to talk a little bit. But he also played at LBA here in Houma, a baseball academy, which is a travel team entity. And those guys talk about the kind of kid he is and how much hard work he puts in.
Main reason I chose Dillard is not only a baseball decision, it's an academic decision as well. Dillard, they're known to push out a lot of people who've gone on to do great things in the field that I want to pursue, which is chemistry. And I feel like Dillard is going to prepare me not only with baseball, but it's going to overall develop me as a whole person. So that's the main reason that I chose them. First and foremost, I'll start off with my parents. My parents, they provided me with opportunities. They've driven me anywhere. They've been on me about every aspect of my life, trying to get me to be the best version of myself. And then all of my coaches at every point, no matter where I am, no matter whether that's with the HLB Academy of New Orleans, LBA, with Ace Academy, or my staff here at HL, all of those coaches have played an instrumental part in my development and also developing me as a whole person.
So Will, first of all, he's a high character young man. He's a kid that's going to work hard to master his craft. He's in baseball. He's a kid that swings the bat really well, has a lot of power to both sides of the field, both to the left side and right side. He's really a good first baseman. He's working on improving his task there, his skill set. But he's really good defensively also. And the thing about Will is he's going to be the first one at practice, and he's going to be the last one at practice to leave. So they getting a kid that can hit the baseball from gap to gap. He can hit the ball over the fence. So they getting a good total player, a player that's got a lot of tools, and they still got he's got some tools that he can still improve on that's going to make him more at that level perform better.
I met him last summer when he played for my travel ball team, and there was just something special about the kid. You know, I've been around a lot of baseball in my life as a player and now as a coach and administration. And I told him, I said, man, look, I said, bro, you one of my favorite people on the team, bro. Like, he can go 0 for 3 or 3 for 3. Nothing changed about that kid. Now, it's big on his character, how he was brought up. I remember his mom came up to after the tournament. She was like, man, thank y'all so much for putting him on the team. I said, nah, thank you for letting us have him. You know, infectious attitude, great kid. I know he's going to be great in life, you know, outside of just baseball. And, you know, good luck, man. You already know you got my number. Now you're coming to New Orleans, so, you know, I'm there. But appreciate the parents, his family, his support system.
To say he was a great player would be kind of an understatement, but you know, lucky enough, knew the family, knew their work ethic, knew what they stood for. And every day since he's been 9 years old, coming in that building, he's kind of been an inspiration for, for the younger guys that have followed. He comes in every single day. He goes through before football practice, now baseball practice. He still finds a way to spend another hour in the cages after practice. So I know Coach Sullivan said he's in there before. He's in there after too. So look, you get out what you put in. And congratulations, you certainly put in more work than almost any player I've had. So congratulations.
I saw him every single day, and it's funny just hearing everybody say the exact same thing. It just speaks to his character and his pico stem for sure, of how amazing he is and how consistent he is. Him and I have had a lot of conversations about college baseball and how to handle yourself, and everything that he's going to do, he's already put the work in for. And it's just being able to say I'm proud of him is an understatement because of how amazing he is. And even after we do workouts together, he's asking me questions, and he's going to be in the cages even after our workout sessions are done.
Football season, I brought Will into my office because he had decided not to play, all right? And Will had a definite plan of why he was choosing not to, and it was to pursue baseball 100%. He was upfront like a man. He talked to me like a man. He had done his homework on certain things. He knew what he wanted to do during the summer. So he made a choice about stepping away from something, but he didn't walk away from it not doing it the right way. He didn't walk away from it for the wrong reasons. So I want to commend him. Me, Coach Kywet, Coach Washington, we all met and talked about it and said, you know what? That young man's going to do exactly what he said he told us he's going to do. And today's living proof. I want to congratulate Will and the family.
5, 6 years old. So to say that we would be here, we kind of knew it. Because at that age, he had that same fire and desire that he has now. And so I got a chance, just like all the other coaches, it's no different. I got the same exact story. Hard worker, shows up, stays late, does the work. And of course, today it's just a testament of everything that we already knew that we would be here. And congratulations.
Great young man. William Brown is going to do some really good things at Dillard. Thanks for spending some time with us. Thanks to Casey for spending time with us. Dustin, thanks for all of you that you do. Again, clean your desk day today.
Yes.
Did you do it? Or are you going to do it?
No, probably not.
Okay, let's just ignore the day today. Hope you all are having a terrific week this week. And by the way, next week we tell you who is in our Bayou Region Athletic Hall of Fame for 2026. That'll be a lot of fun. We are going to come out on Martin Luther King Day.
It's going to be a big episode.
Yeah, big episode. We'll do a lot of getting ready for that along the way. Again, we're going to announce those 6 inductees. Very proud of that. We're sort of culminating all the information right now and making sure they know so that when this comes out, they won't be surprised. But it's always a fun day because those are 6 excited individuals on a yearly basis. So tune in for that. Again, that'll come out next Monday on Martin Luther King Day. Hope you have a great week, everybody. Take care.